This is CTV News with Nafisa Karim.
Can run and jump and have the breathing capacity to have full-on conversations and go to preschool and play t-ball. It's just amazing.
Tonight, how a life-changing spinal surgery is inspiring a Central Saanich boy to raise money for BC Children's Hospital.
There will be a fully functioning volunteer fire department, and that's going to be the whole part of this, is we're going to need volunteers from the community to step up to help us.
Shovels in the ground on a new fire station for Mount Washington, more than a decade in the making. Plus, Adam finds out how an unexpected connection and a surprising turtle led to a remarkable proposal under the sea. Later on the Sawatsky sign-off. Good evening and thank you for joining us. A Central Saanich boy is proving nothing is impossible after overcoming a severe spinal condition. Thanks to several surgeries at BC Children's Hospital, Oliver is ready to give back. As CTV's Anna McMillan reports, this weekend, Oliver and his mom are running a race that was out of reach a year ago.
It wasn't long ago when Oliver Norrie couldn't play like the other kids because this is what his spine looked like.
Oliver's spine here almost takes about a 90-degree angle.
To correct that, he underwent 3 surgeries last year at BC Children's Hospital in Vancouver, leaving his home in Central Saanich for 3 months.
Now he can run and jump and have the breathing capacity to have full-on conversations and go to preschool and play t-ball. It's just amazing how much his life has changed in the last year.
The 5-year-old boy was born with scoliosis and kyphosis, conditions that cause abnormal curves in the spine.
I fell by leg there.
You're gonna run far away there? He's doing the bases.
On Sunday, Oliver is doing something that wouldn't have previously been possible.
And are we gonna run a big race? Yeah, and raise money for Dr. House?
Dr. House, as in BC Children's Hospital. He's running in RBC's Race for the Kids by Elk Lake, which is raising money for the hospital.
Mommy, he's super fast.
Is he super fast?
Yeah.
Is Groot gonna run too?
Yeah.
Yeah?
He'll ride on my bike.
Oh, he's gonna ride on your bike.
Oliver and his family are running to support the staff and programs that changed his life. They're encouraging others to donate.
We just really want to give back to the programs that are donor funded, like the art therapy and the music therapy and the child life specialists that really helped Oliver and our whole family on his journey.
This 3D printed spine played a huge role in that journey. It was made at BC Children's Digital Lab.
Our surgeon, Dr. Riley, shared with us that he looked at this model daily and was really able to plan how Oliver's surgery was going to go.
As Oliver grows, more surgeries are expected.
I just hope he can just be a kid and just not have to worry about going to the hospital all the time and just be able to enjoy life like any typical 5-year-old would be able to do.
A dream that in this moment appears to have come true. Anna McMillan, CTV News, Central Saanich.
Kayakers, paddleboarders, even swimmers can head back to the water in an area recently closed by a massive sewage leak. Testing shows the water in most of the Comox Harbor estuary and marina is once again safe for water activities. On May 26th, the major sewage leak forced Comox officials to shut down the area and call on the public to stop using toilets and showers. The water quality advisory does remain in place for the foreshore between Jane Place and the Comox Wharf. The regional district says testing in the area will continue at a reduced rate now that most of the water has been deemed safe. An aggressive black bear has closed a portion of a popular park in Nanaimo. It happened yesterday after a frightening confrontation at Westwood Lake between a man with his children and a black bear that charged them twice. We bring in CTV's Brendan Strain with more. Brendan.
Here at Nanaimo's Westwood Lake Park, hikers, runners and bikers are being told to avoid sections of the trail after a father and his children had a close call with a black bear. It happened along a 2-kilometer portion of the trail in the southeast corner of the park, which the city of Nanaimo has now closed on recommendations of the BC Conservation Service. The bear charged the family 2 separate times, stopping each time before actually making contact. Fortunately, nobody was hurt. There have been many recent sightings of the bear within Westwood Lake Park already this season, with signage being posted notifying park users that the bear is in the area. The city of Nanaimo is advising park users to exercise caution while using the portion of the trail that is still open. The BC Conservation Service is asking park users to familiarize themselves with the proper safety precautions in case you happen to come across this aggressive bear. Also, to travel in groups, leash your pets, and carry bear spray. Conservation officers are continuing to monitor the bear's activity in this area, and if you happen to come across the aggressive bear, you're asked to notify the provincial RAP line.
Thank you, Brendan. Work has started on a long-awaited fire hall for Mount Washington after several major structure fires dating back nearly a decade. The latest fire happening in April, a 3-story chalet fully engulfed and was a total loss. 10 years ago, the community petitioned for firefighting equipment to be stored on the mountain. It was used in this latest fire to prevent it from spreading. At a cost of $1.5 million, the prefabricated structure going up will house a 65-foot ladder truck and an off-road vehicle that can haul gear.
So it will be a fully functioning volunteer fire department. So, and that's going to be the whole part of this, is we're going to need volunteers from the community to step up to help us become firefighters. And with that, there could possibly be insurance savings for the residents up there.
Efforts to get equipment and a fire hall began in 2015 when 3 ski chalets went up in flames and all people could do was stand by and watch helplessly. Passengers on a Hullo ferry between Vancouver and Nanaimo got a front row seat to RCMP training exercises. That training is in preparation for the FIFA World Cup starting in Vancouver. A spokesperson for Hullo says much like in 2010 ahead of the Olympics, the RCMP is working directly with transportation companies to provide additional security measures during FIFA. Similar training was done recently with BC Ferries. Canada's Minister of Natural Resources says the challenges facing forestry go beyond Trump-era tariffs during a funding announcement for the industry today in Langford. The minister, who is in town to meet with forest ministers from across Canada, unveiled $130 million in funding for 56 projects across the country. The funds will go towards advancing new low-carbon wood technologies, expanding the use of mass timber in construction, and helping manufacturers create higher-value products. The minister says the sector finds itself at a turning point. The industry is in crisis and needs to change.
But rather than simply extending the sector's life support, we now must challenge and support it to transform into a modern, thriving industry that can build Canada's future and achieve sustained, independent prosperity.
The province has been asking for federal help for Vancouver Island's ailing forestry industry. This past spring, more than 350 workers were laid off from Crofton Mill. The owner of the mill attributed the closure to persistently poor market conditions. Workers at the Fairmont Empress in downtown Victoria have issued a strike notice. More than 600 unionized workers at the hotel voted 99% in favor of strike action, the strongest mandate in the hotel's history. Unifor, the union representing hotel employees, says the workers want the employer to address fair wages, mental health benefits, and protections for gratuity earners. If talks don't resume this week, picket lines could go up as early as Saturday. The Korean Navy has pulled anchor and left Canada's westernmost naval base, CFB Esquimalt. The Korean submarine, which Canada is considering purchasing, has been at the base for the past week. The sub departs as a high-stakes battle between South Korea and Germany to secure a lucrative submarine contract here in Canada worth billions is entering a very intense final few weeks. Exclusive reporting from CTV News has revealed one of South Korea's secret weapons in its bid, codenamed Project Beaver, shows plans to build a new hydrogen transport truck industry in Canada. Hyundai is in partnership with the sub-builder Hanwha on the build. The South Koreans are competing with a German-Norwegian bid, including shipbuilder TKMS. Ottawa will make a final decision in late June, and that decision could be worth more than $100 billion. Ottawa is demanding the CRTC review a recent decision that could lead to Canadians paying more for streaming services, and one that has become a trade irritant for the U.S. Last month, the CRTC announced that large foreign streaming services would have to spend more of Canadian revenues on Canadian programming. CTV's Annie Bergeron-Oliver has more on what the government has to say about that.
The federal government appears to be backing away from its fight to force streaming giants to pay more for Canadian content, one day after what Canada called positive trade talks in Washington.
It's no secret to anyone that's been paying any attention to this that the USTR has identified these issues as a trade issue. It would be disingenuous to suggest that this is the single issue. The reality is we're impatient to make sure that the sector stays vital and stays supported.
Last month, the CRTC announced it was tripling the amount companies like Netflix and Disney had to pay for Canadian content, increasing fees from 5% of their Canadian revenue to 15%, a move the Conservatives strongly opposed.
When we debated this in the House of Commons, the Liberals faux-pas us. They made it sound like it was no big deal, that this tax was being widely accepted. That's not true.
Days after saying they couldn't act, Ottawa is now asking the CRTC to review that decision, saying it could increase costs for consumers.
It's actually good to see the government admitting that some of their the choices that they've made in terms of the legislation, in terms of the regulations, are actually going to have downstream impacts on consumers.
But many experts say it's about more than affordability. It's about appeasing the Americans who have repeatedly called the Online Streaming Act a trade irritant.
The CRTC's move was largely seen as provocative, an annoyance, an irritant to those trade negotiations. And so essentially what the federal government is doing is removing that annoyance from the playing field.
The streaming companies' fees were supposed to help Canadian producers, but no money has ever gone out. It's all been tied up in the courts. To help that industry, the Canadian government today announced a $600 million investment. Annie Bergeron-Oliver, CTV News, Ottawa.
19 degrees in Victoria right now after hitting a high of 22 earlier in the day today. We do have some scattered showers across parts of the island, and there's more precipitation for some areas over the next couple of days. Closer look at that in just a few minutes.
Well, Josh joins us now. Is it fair to say the word of the day is unsettled?
Yeah, especially for inland areas and then the west coast and the northern parts of the island. That's where most of the precipitation is going to be. There's been some scattered showers. We'll see a little bit of that pass through parts of the Victoria area. I don't think we're going to get any heavy rain, though. A little cooler today than the past couple of days. 26 degrees the last 2 days, 22 for a high. We're at 19 right now. Still in the 20s, Nanaimo, Port Alberni, Comox. Port Alberni was at 30 yesterday, though. So everybody cooled off several degrees from the last few days. There's some rain there north of the Comox area. Comox had some rain earlier in the day today. Could see a few showers push into the Port Alberni region here later on this evening. And then, yeah, most of that's going to stay north of Victoria, I think, through this evening. And things sort of dry up for most areas through the overnight period. Tomorrow, it looks like northern parts of the west coast and then up around Port Hardy, you get a pretty good chance of some off and on showers or some periods of steadier rain at times tomorrow, especially through the afternoon hours. Victoria, just a mix of sun and cloud for tomorrow. There's a little better chance at seeing some of those showers push a little further south. Almost everybody gets at least a chance of some precipitation on Friday, although for most areas, it's not really going to amount to all that much. 13 and periods of rain in the north tomorrow. Some more rain on Friday. 11 degrees Friday, but back into the mid-teens. A little warm up and a little bit of sunshine breaking through the clouds Saturday and Sunday. Inland areas, 18 degrees tomorrow. Chance of some late day showers, late afternoon, early evening. I think the best chance for some showers is going to be Friday, although even Saturday you might see a few sprinkles in the area. Daytime highs will be in the mid-teens there for Friday, Saturday. A little warmer Sunday, a little sunnier as well to close the weekend. And then maybe the best chance for some steadier rain for inland areas will come Monday. Off and on rain Thursday and Friday out along the west coast, although as we showed you there for tomorrow, it's mainly from Tofino north. Gusts will be around 40 kilometers per hour, 13 degrees on Friday in the rain, and then a little more settled for Saturday, Sunday. There's a slight chance of some showers Sunday, but I think most of the weekend should actually be fairly dry out on the west coast. Saturday, Sunday in Comox should be dry and a decent amount of sunshine, actually, with temperatures right around average. Tomorrow, a couple of degrees above average. Chance of an evening shower as the cloud cover will be increasing through the day in a high of 20. Nanaimo, 19 or 20 for a daytime high. Some increasing cloud through the day. There's a slight chance you may see a brief passing shower tomorrow evening. I think the better chance is going to be Friday, especially sort of midday or early afternoon on Friday. Temperatures climb close to 20 for Saturday, Sunday with a little extra sunshine. And then early next week, you get a chance of some showers or some periods of rain for the Nanaimo and Victoria areas. We'll see temperatures somewhere in the mid to high teens for most of the next couple of days. So after being in the mid-20s for the last couple of days, settling back closer to average here. A bit of wind tomorrow, again Friday, 20 to 30 kilometers per hour. There'll be gusts on top of that to about 40 or 50 kilometers per hour. Saturday, think that's probably the best chance for seeing some showers. Maybe late Friday, but Saturday you've got a 40% chance of some scattered precipitation in the area. No real heavy rain, though, Fisa, anytime soon over the next 4 or 5 days. So temperatures cooling off a little bit, but it doesn't really look all that wet in Victoria. Most of that's going to be further north.
All right. Thank you, Josh. A growing number of Americans are searching for properties in Canada as they consider seeking refuge on this side of the border. A new report from Royal LePage says sessions from the U.S. origins on its website spiked throughout the first half of this year, with traffic surging during periods of economic and geopolitical uncertainty. The first major spike was between January 11th and 17th, days after Renee Good was fatally shot by an ICE agent in Minnesota. A second spike, which set new records, happened between April 5th and 11th following heightened tensions surrounding the war in Iran. During that time, Royal LePage saw a 125% week-over-week interest on its website and a staggering 233% increase year-over-year. The Trump administration is taking a new approach to global tariffs after the U.S. Supreme Court struck down previous ones earlier this year. The focus now is on curbing imports made with forced labor and a proposed new 10% tariff on Canada and other trading partners who allegedly fail to comply. CTV's Abigail Beeman now with Canada's reaction and the shifting goalposts on trade.
Hello. Just hours after the U.S.-Canada Trade Minister said he had a positive meeting with Jamieson Greer, Greer's office said Canada is among the countries that could be hit with a new 10% tariff for failing to take action on forced labor. The failure of our most important trading partners to address the importation of goods made with forced labor is unacceptable. This creates a dynamic where American workers are forced to compete globally on an unlevel playing field, Greer said.
This is not a surprise.
The Prime Minister pointed out the vast majority of goods fall under the Canada-U.S.-Mexico free trade deal and won't be impacted. He says Canada supports the overall objective.
We made some changes earlier this year on things that candidly were not as effective, so there's ways we can change things legislatively. We'll be proposing that to the House in the coming weeks.
LeBlanc wouldn't answer whether he and Greer discussed Canada's move to allow some Chinese EVs into the market.
We don't discuss publicly the content of private conversations or private discussions.
U.S.-Canada expert Christopher Sands says the U.S. is intentionally moving some trade irritants outside CUSMA.
The good news is that might mean the USMCA could move as far as renewal, or that the negotiations could be more constructive going forward. The bad news is this is designed to keep the U.S. with leverage, even if we renew USMCA, because we have the other issues that we could use to impose tariffs on Canada.
Now, these tariffs aren't in place just yet. Experts say important to point out there is a process. The USTR will hold hearings about them July 7th. Abigail Beeman, CTV News, Washington.
Coming up, underwater proposal. Adam finds out how a Vancouver Island couple is celebrating their love under the sea. Next on the Sawatsky Sign-Off. Finally, Adam finds out how a Royston couple's unexpected connection and common passion led to a remarkable proposal under the sea on the Sawatsky Sign-Off.
As Kaylin Lindsay walks along the beach in BC, she recalls posing for a photo with her family in Mexico.
And Maxwell comes and takes the phone out of their hand and takes the picture of our family, and that was our first initial meet and greet.
Maxwell Hone was also on vacation and recognized Kaylin's dad because they'd both worked together when he was a commercial diver.
And I was like, oh, John has a daughter, and so I had a really good in.
Although Kaylin and Maxwell grew up in the same place, they'd never met before this.
We really hit it off. Things just kind of flowed. The conversation flowed.
So, for their first date there, they decided to go diving.
I pretty much figured she was the one from like the second day I knew her.
But it wasn't until 3 years later, after Kaylin and John had started working together on his wildlife cinematography business for National Geographic, Netflix, and Disney, that the couple realized what a good team they really were.
Wait for the right person. When they come along, you'll know it.
And that's when John decided to spend 6 months planning a surprise for Kaylin during a diving trip to the Galapagos Islands.
All the kind of things that could go wrong were going wrong.
The current current was so strong that day that the thing that Maxwell had hidden earlier on the bottom of the ocean seemed to have swept away until Kaylin spotted a giant turtle.
And then my gaze shifts and I notice this treasure chest.
That turtle was right there as like it was guarding the chest. It was the coolest thing ever.
And I'm like, whoa, like what is that doing here?
And when Kaylin opened it, she found it filled with photos documenting their love story, beginning with that first date.
I immediately started crying. My eyes were welling up and my mask was filling up with tears.
Because she knew then, without having to read the love letter Maxwell had also placed in a bottle, or wear the engagement ring also resting in the chest, that the answer to his proposal was absolutely yes.
I was just over the moon. I couldn't believe that he had put this much thought and energy into a proposal.
And while they celebrated their proposal on a boat and expect their wedding to be staged on dry land, the couple is committed to spending as much of their time as husband and wife under the sea. Adam Sawatsky, CTV News, Royston.
That is it for CTV News Vancouver Island. Thank you so much for joining us. Good night.